The chill from my phone radiated up my arm as my mother's words pierced the Sunday morning quiet. Your kids can skip this year. Mother's Day is only for the well-behaved ones. I watched my 8-year-old daughter's fingers tighten around her juice glass, her small shoulders curling inward like a wounded animal. Her eyes, wide with confusion, slowly filled as comprehension dawned. The kitchen light caught the single tear that tracked down her cheek before she whispered, "Grandma doesn't want me there?" My name is Rachel Watson. I'm 32 and a financial advisor. This is the story of how I dismantled a family dynasty built on emotional manipulation. 3 generations of Watson women sat in that kitchen. My daughter, Olivia, myself, and the ghost of my own childhood insecurities, awakened by my mother's casual cruelty. For years, I'd been the family fixer, the silent provider whose credit cards fueled their lifestyle while my opinions remained worthless. My mother, Victoria, hadn't worked in 15 years but maintained a social calendar that rivaled diplomats. It was funded entirely by the daughter she constantly found lacking. I'd become accustomed to her criticisms of me, but watching her weapon aimed at my daughter unlocked something primal, something final. My thumbs moved across the screen, typing a message so short it belied the seismic shift it represented. Understood. I'll cancel my card for the event. I set my phone down and knelt before Olivia, whose small face had crumpled into silent tears. Hey, sunshine, we're going to have our own celebration today. But why doesn't Grandma want me there? Her voice cracked on the question. I brushed her hair back, choosing my words carefully. Sometimes people confuse love with control. Grandma is upset with me, and she's trying to hurt me by hurting you. Did I do something wrong? No, baby, not one thing. I held her gaze, and you will never, ever have to earn love from people who are supposed to give it freely. My mother left my message on read, then immediately forwarded it to the family group chat like a trophy. The notifications began pinging. My sister Renee with an eye roll emoji, my cousin Thomas with, "Drama queen much?" My father's silent complicity through absence. Within 5 minutes, my sister's Instagram story appeared. Crystal champagne flutes clinking above plates of lobster pasta at Aurelio's, the upscale restaurant where my mother had been treating the family to Mother's Day brunches for years. The caption read, "Mother's Day with a real family." They thought public humiliation would make me fold. It didn't. It revealed the true currency of our relationship. While Olivia retreated to the living room with her tablet, I walked to my home office and opened my banking app. My fingers hovered over the screen as 15 years of conditioning waged war with the mama bear whose cub had just been wounded. Be the good daughter, keep the peace, just apologize. The mama bear won. I navigated to account settings and systematically removed every authorized user. Mother, sister, father, cousins, all deleted. I canceled every pre-approved restaurant tab. I froze the reimbursement line they treated as their personal slush fund. I removed every linked card from every family member's phone. For 15 years, I'd been their ATM dressed in human skin. In 3 minutes flat, I closed the bank. As I worked, the group chat selfies kept coming. Steaks, dessert platters, expensive wine. "Missing you, sis." LOL from Renee. All charged to the card they assumed would process automatically because it always had. They had no idea. 14 minutes later, the notifications started. Declined, declined, declined. But the first call I answered wasn't from my mother. It was from Aurelio's manager, his voice tightly professional but with an undercurrent of tension. "Miss Watson, I'm very sorry to bother you, but your family's card is declining repeatedly. They're telling us you're on your way here with another payment method." I stepped onto my balcony, the warm May air carrying the scent of my neighbor's barbecue. Children laughed somewhere down the block. "No, I'm not coming," I said evenly, "and they're no longer authorized users on any of my accounts." A pause. Restaurant sounds filtered through, clattering dishes, ambient conversation, a cork popping. "So, who is responsible for this bill then?" he asked carefully. "My mother," I answered. "The one who told my daughter she isn't well behaved enough to attend Mother's Day brunch." Silence, then a quiet exhale of understanding. "I'll speak to them," he said, voice steady now. Thank you for the clarification. When the call ended, my phone erupted. First my sister. What did you do? Then my mother. Call me now, this isn't funny. Then my cousin. We just ordered dessert. What is happening? What shocked me most wasn't their panic or the public embarrassment they faced. It was the realization that, for the first time ever, I didn't rush to save them. I didn't jump to fix it. I didn't apologize. And I didn't bend. I returned to the living room where Olivia sat curled on the couch, watching cartoons. She patted the spot beside her, and I settled in as she laid her head in my lap. She traced small circles on my arm with her fingertip. "Mommy, are they mad?" she whispered. "They're mad because they didn't expect consequences," I said softly. "Are we in trouble?" I kissed her forehead. "No, we're just witnessing what happens when people who never hear no finally do." The quiet of our living room stood in stark contrast to what I imagined at the restaurant. Raised voices, scraping chairs, failing cards, and for the first time in years, my family facing a bill they couldn't hide from. My mother finally called. Not a voice note, not a text. An actual call. Her voice was shaky, stripped of its usual imperial tone. "Rachel, sweetheart, your card must have some issue. Can you just fix it so we can finish dinner?" I leaned back against the cushions, keeping my voice calm, controlled. "There is no issue. I removed you all today." She didn't answer for a beat. Then the switch flipped. The same entitled voice I'd heard my entire life. "You're doing this on Mother's Day? In front of everyone. You're humiliating us." "No," I replied. "You did that when you told my 8-year-old daughter she wasn't worthy of your time." Silence. Then I heard chairs dragging, people whispering, someone asking the waiter to try again. My mother hissed into the phone. "You better fix this before the entire restaurant sees us being escorted out." "There's nothing to fix," I said. Her breathing sharpened. "You think you're powerful because you have money?" "No," I said quietly. "I'm powerful because I finally removed access." She tried one more tactic. Fake crying, the manipulation she'd used since I was 10. But beneath the theatrical sobbing was something new, genuine fear, because she finally realized they were no longer inside the vault. They were outside with everyone else. I ended the call, not angry, just done. Olivia looked up from her coloring book. "Is Grandma still mad?" "She's learning," I whispered. My phone lit up again, the restaurant manager. "They're refusing to leave. We need your authorization for the next step." I closed my eyes and exhaled. After sitting with Olivia for another 10 minutes to make sure she was comfortable, I told her I needed to run a quick errand. I called Mrs. Jenkins from next door, who'd been Olivia's babysitter since she was 3, and asked if she could come over for an hour. She arrived within minutes, having heard the tension in my voice. I walked into Aurelio's 15 minutes later, not because I rushed, but because I chose my timing. The restaurant was only a short drive from our apartment complex. I had taken that route many times before when meeting clients for lunch. The host's eyes widened in recognition. Clearly, word had spread through the staff. My mother saw me from their corner table and immediately stood. Mascara streaked down her cheeks, napkins clutched in her fist. My sister crossed her arms, somehow casting herself as the victim. The waiter, a young man who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, exhaled in pure relief. They weren't even sitting anymore. They were surrounded. Tables staring, phones recording, guests whispering. This was not the glamorous Mother's Day they'd envisioned. My mother grabbed my wrist the second I got close enough. "Rachel, stop this right now and unfreeze the card. We are humiliated." "You humiliated yourselves when you told my daughter she wasn't invited," I said, my voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through me. "You must forgive," she snapped, voice trembling with rage. "Family always forgives." My daughter's voice replayed in my head. "Why doesn't Grandma want me there, Mommy?" I turned to the manager. "You can run the charge through my account, but not theirs. And only for the food already served, not the champagne, not the extra desserts, just the basics." The manager nodded, relief evident in his eyes. I looked back at my mother. "You don't get to keep privileges after you throw away people." My mother's chin trembled. My sister inhaled like she was about to launch into a tirade, then saw the look in my eyes and backed down. For the first time in my life, they understood there were consequences, real ones that couldn't be cried or manipulated away. The manager processed the payment. I signed and walked out. My mother followed me into the entrance hallway, clutching her designer purse, voice thin as tissue paper. "Rachel, you're not serious about what you said earlier, right?" I turned to face her. "I haven't even started yet." She stood speechless, as if suddenly confronted by a stranger wearing her daughter's face. The elevator doors slid open behind me. I stepped inside deliberately, never breaking eye contact. She remained frozen in the hallway, and right before the doors closed, she whispered, "What are you going to do?" I didn't answer because there was nothing left to say, only proof to deliver. On the drive home, my phone buzzed nonstop. Dad calling, brother calling, relatives calling, screenshots, voice notes, all of them suddenly concerned, suddenly desperate to understand my state of mind. Funny how people only discover urgency when their comfort is threatened. When my daughter was crying, they were silent. When their luxury brunch collapsed, they found their voices. Back home, I found Olivia coloring on the living room floor, earbuds in, still wearing the little purple hoodie she'd had on all day. Mrs. Jenkins waved from the kitchen, mouthing that everything had been fine. I thanked her as she left, grateful for neighbors who understood what real support looked like. Olivia looked up, eyes wide, waiting for my expression to tell her whether she should be afraid. I knelt beside her. I didn't let them talk down to us today. Her shoulders dropped in relief, as if she'd been holding her breath too. Then I opened my laptop because people think consequences are just emotional. They don't realize consequences can be structural. Inside my bank dashboard, I navigated to the Authorized Users tab. Victoria Watson, Daniel Watson, Renee Watson. 3 names, 3 people who'd treated me like an endlessly replenishing resource. Remove access. Confirm a window appeared. Processing completed. They wanted to play hierarchy games? Fine. Let's see how they operate without access to the very woman they'd declared not worth including on Mother's Day. The next morning, the real fallout started. At 8:07 a.m., before I finished brushing my teeth, my phone lit up like Times Square on New Year's Eve. 15 missed calls, 9 voice messages, 6 texts, all marked urgent. Mother, father, sister, blowing up my phone like a malfunctioning fire hydrant. I didn't answer a single one. I poured Olivia's cereal, packed her folder for school, tied her shoelaces. She hummed a song from TikTok as if nothing in the world was wrong, because for her, nothing was. That was the point. For the first time, the storm wasn't inside our home. It was happening outside, in the world of adults who thought they controlled mine. At 10:14 a.m., my bank manager called. "Ms. Watson, your mother and brother are here demanding access to your accounts. We've informed them they've been removed as authorized users. They're not handling it well." I sipped my coffee. "Tell them to contact legal, not me." He paused. "I already did." At 11:02 a.m., my brother James sent a photo. Him, mother, father, standing in the bank lobby like 3 VIPs who just discovered their badges no longer worked. The message read, "Fix this now." 2 years ago, this would have destroyed me. Today, it felt like justice finally remembering my address. At 12:45 p.m., while heating pasta for lunch, my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. "Ms. Watson, this is Linda from Family Affairs Counseling. Your mother has scheduled a mediation meeting and listed you as attending." I actually laughed. They didn't ask me. "Oh," she sounded surprised. "They implied you had agreed already." Of course they did. They never ask. They assign. I will not be attending. "I'll make a note," she said. As I rinsed the pasta, I realized something critical. They weren't trying to make peace. They were trying to regain access. Everything had shifted from emotional to tactical. What happened at 3:17 p.m. proved it. My phone vibrated with a FaceTime request from my aunt in Florida. We hadn't spoken in 8 years. The moment I answered, she launched in without preamble. "Sweetheart, your mother is hysterical. Why would you do this to your own family? They said you froze all the cards during Mother's Day. How cruel can you be?" There it was, the smear campaign phase. the make her the villain phase, the last weapon they thought they controlled. I kept my voice calm. Aunt Deborah, did they tell you they informed my daughter she's not a well-behaved child and uninvited her from Mother's Day? Silence. Did they tell you they laughed while she cried? Heavier silence. Did they tell you they bragged about their luxury brunch while expecting me to pay the bill they hid from me? She blinked. No, they didn't mention that part. Of course not. They don't include context, only control. I ended the call politely and blocked her number too. At 5:51 p.m., my mother tried a new angle, a video call holding Olivia's old baby blanket like some nostalgic emotional weapon. Her eyes were red, voice cracked from hours of performative distress. Families fight, but money doesn't need to be involved, she pleaded. You can reverse all this. Reverse? There was nothing to reverse. This was the first time in my entire adult life I hadn't folded. Mother, I said slowly, you're only upset because I stopped funding your cruelty. Her lips parted as if I'd physically struck her. I ended the call mid-sob. I closed the phone, turned to Olivia coloring on the floor, and kissed the top of her head. I was breaking the cycle for her. At 9:28 p.m., my legal advisor texted, "It's time." I'd been consulting with her for months about setting proper boundaries with my family, especially after my divorce from Olivia's father 3 years ago. She had helped me understand that my family's financial dependence was a form of abuse, not just an inconvenience. When I told her what happened today, she confirmed we could now implement the protection plan we'd discussed. At 9:43 p.m., I sat at my kitchen island, laptop open, legal documents on screen, while Olivia slept in her room with the soft pink glow of her nightlight. My attorney's voice on speaker was clinical, precise. All family-linked accounts, obligations, joint access, and informal authorizations are now formally dissolved. You are legally insulated. No one can demand anything further. Do you wish to file the final notice? I looked at the blinking cursor. This wasn't revenge. This was the moment I became undeniably free. I clicked send. In less than 1 second, an entire lifetime of emotional debt was closed. At 10:11 p.m., my father called from a number I didn't recognize. I only had his contact in my phone because we shared family health insurance. Something else I would change tomorrow. I answered only because I wanted the final moment to be clean. His voice wasn't angry now. It was thin, uncertain. Your mother can't stop crying, he whispered. Your sister feels humiliated. They feel betrayed. I stared at the steam rising from my tea. I felt that way for 30 years, I replied. You just never noticed. He said nothing because there was nothing left to manipulate. I'm not cutting anyone out, I clarified. I'm cutting myself free. He inhaled sharply, and for perhaps the first time ever, he truly heard me. Then I ended the call. The next morning, I drove Olivia to the botanical garden. We walked among the cherry blossoms. We laughed. We ate ice cream at 9:30 a.m. for absolutely no reason. Her happiness wasn't a battlefield anymore. It was ours. Pure, untouched, unbargained. And as she hugged my arm and pointed at a butterfly struggling to escape its cocoon, I felt it in my chest. We had broken the pattern. My family lost their supply, but I gained something they never had or understood. A life built on self-respect rather than fear. I was choosing a future where my daughter would grow up knowing she never had to beg anyone to see her value. The legacy of humiliation ended with me. Quietly, firmly, permanently. 6 months later, I received a formal letter from my mother requesting to see Olivia. I agreed to supervised visits contingent upon her attending therapy. My brother eventually apologized, acknowledging his role in enabling the family dynamics. My sister remains distant, unable to accept the new reality where money doesn't flow freely. As for my relationship with my parents, we're slowly rebuilding on more equal terms, one careful step at a time, with firm boundaries that protect both Olivia and me. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles. Zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.